going to ApollyCon in just a couple of weeks, so it's time to do another fantasy romance taste test. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is For Pause in a Book. I make bookish videos over here in my little corner of the internet, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. I did this vlog before a couple of months ago where I took 3 authors that were going to ApollyCon and I read one of their books, and these were authors that I had heard of before but had not read before, and they were books that I was really interested in during the initial look through of the authors at ApollyCon. Unfortunately, some of the authors that are in that original video are no longer attending ApollyCon, so that's kind of a bummer. But I found 3 new authors that, as of filming this, are still on the list to go to ApollyCon, and we're gonna read a book from those 3 authors. These are all Romantasy books, and I'm very, very excited about them because they've been on my radar for quite some time. So first up, we have Savage City by L. Penelope. This is about a girl who supposedly dies and falls into this portal universe where she is mistaken as the princess of this land. She is like, it's kind of like an alternate universe, and so in this universe, like, her doppelganger is the princess and they think it's her. In this portal universe, she has a doting father, something that she has always craved, and so she is hesitant to let anyone know that they've got it wrong. She feigns amnesia so that way it makes sense that she doesn't understand what's going on around her, and just kind of rolls with it. And then there is Ryan. That's what it says, but it's spelled kind of funny, who is a Fae warrior in captivity and has been tasked with caring for our new princess and mending her and healing her. And, you know, they are from 2 opposite clans. They are supposedly at war with each other, but he's been tasked to heal her, and of course, like, they're gonna catch some feelings. Then we have Slaying the Shifter Prince by Claire Sager. I've read several of these mortal enemies to monster lovers romances recently. They are standalone novels, but they kind of take place all in the same series. I don't know if they're actually in the same world or not. But anyways, our main character has been imprisoned by our shifter prince. He is Fae, and so we have a Fae romance here. It's a slight nod to a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I've been told it's kind of a loose retelling. It's not exact, but there are some nods to it. And I've heard good things about this. I know a lot of the people that are also going to ApollyCon have read this one. I think this was a pretty popular one during 72 Hours in the Reading Nook a couple, like, last month. What is time at this point, honestly? And a lot of people liked it, so I am excited to pick this one up. And then this book is a little bit of a outlier. I don't actually think I've heard anybody talk about this book, but upon reading the synopsis, when I was looking at the authors, I was really interested in it. And this is Dark Night Golden Dawn by Alison Carr Wechter. This is another rivals to lovers. I'm sensing a theme here of 2 different clans that the 2 people are fated to be together. Man, maybe they're just all Romeo and Juliet retellings at this point. But this is about Harlow, who is a sorcier. She just wants to recover from her most recent breakup. Her ex was kind of a jerk. But unfortunately, her district is being taken over by this other evil order. And they kind of agree to back off as long as the head guy's son marries Harlow, our main character. So this sounds like it's going to have a lot of tropes in it. Some arranged marriage, some hate to love, maybe, definitely some rivals to lovers, as they are on opposite sides of the fence, apparently. But these are all tropes that I really like in romance, so I'm hoping that it translates to Romantasy as well. With that said, let's get into the vlog portion of this video. Hello, I don't know if this clip is going to work or not, but I'm out here with the dogs and I thought, why not vlog a clip here? The problem is that it's a nice day tonight and we live on like kind of a busy street. I don't know if you can like see it. It's kind of busy. So everyone is on their motorcycle today. So there's that. So I'm trying to like stand in like the corner of my house to like block out some sound. I don't know that that's gonna work, but we're gonna try because it's nice out here. I have the dogs running and I need to talk to you. So I finished Savage City by L. Penelope, and I could have sworn I had a 50% clip of this book, but apparently I do not, because I had no thoughts about this book. I'm actually going to be giving it 2 stars. So I guess I do have thoughts, but they're not really like strong opinions. My biggest issue with this book is that it's a YA book. There wasn't any smut. There was no smut. There was like kissing and stuff like that, but it's pretty much no smut. And I feel like the synopsis of this book is kind of mismarketing the book, because I did not know it was urban fantasy, but like they're in essentially San Francisco, and like a portal, and she like, I don't know, she died, like on the synopsis it says she dies and like is in this like essentially purgatory place where these mystical creatures live and are at war, and like so this is where she's gone to, but like she died in a car accident, and it's very much a like contemporary story that like portals you into another world. So had I read this last month, it would have worked great for the Portal Universe Our Fantasy bingo card. That is, I think, one of the ones that I missed the hard mode for. So, you know, would have been great to read literally a week ago, but that is what it is for content. But yeah, it's very YA. It's very like the characters are very juvenile. They're just making stupid decisions. They feel like teenagers essentially like the entire time, and I'm just like, I don't want to be in your head. You are so annoying. There's a reason I don't read YA romance anymore. But I think had I known going into it, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. But like if I would have known it was YA going into it, I would have like managed my expectations and wouldn't have been expecting the same thing from it, if that makes any sense. I don't know that I'm not gonna read anything else from this series, obviously. I did not enjoy this, but I don't know that I will read anything else from her. I don't know. Let me know, is her other series, because I think it's like a time travel romance. I know Margaret's read it and I think she likes it. So if you've read the other series, let me know, is it more adult? Because I can do very few YA romances these days. I think it's just because like, I don't know, like I'm old, I'm 34, but like I feel so old, especially on BookTube, because there's so many people that are like, you know, just starting their channels right out of college, or while they're still in college. And so like I as a content creator feel old, and then when I read stuff that is meant for teenagers, I feel even older. And you know, I'm just the BookTube grandma at this point. It's fine. It's fine. That's my thoughts on this book. I don't have a ton of thoughts, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't have a 50% vlog clip here, because maybe I would have had like a little bit more of a live reaction. It's actually been a couple of days since I finished this book. I've been very, very bad at vlogging, because I'm reading books for 4 different vlogs at this point. I am pure chaos right now, but it's basically like I'm playing Libby Chicken, and so it's like whenever a book comes off of hold, or even worse, like Libby is about to take the book from me because someone else is waiting for it and I can't renew the book, so I'm having to read for so many different vlogs, and I'm trying to vlog them in order, and it's not happening very well. But that is you know, behind the scenes of content creation. I don't know if you wanted to know all that. I don't know. I find like behind the scenes stuff really interesting. I don't know if you do, but if I find it really interesting, and so when people talk about like how they make their videos, I am so nosy. I should do another like content creation vlog where I'm like not talking about books, I'm just talking about how I make my videos. If you're interested in that, let me know. But anyway, that's not this vlog. That's neither here nor there. 2 stars for Savage City, and we're gonna move on to the second book. Hello, hi friends. 2 things. First off, I would like to find a makeup that can like stay on my face all day and not make me look splotchy at 1:30, but I look like a hot mess. It's been one of those days. I am 60% of the way through this. I've been listening to it all day. It's a 12-hour audiobook. I've listened to like 40% of this book like since 8 o'clock this morning, and I just have not put it down. Not sure if we can blame starting Adderall or the fact that it's a good book. I don't know, but we're just gonna roll with it, and I'm gonna try to finish it today. So I have mixed feelings about this book. First off, this is definitely more on the like romance side of fantasy romance. So like do with that information as you will. The main focus of this story is the romance. That's the world building definitely comes second. I mean, there is an overarching plot with these 2 people that are like not supposed to be together. And I think I'm going to talk about what I'm struggling with first, and then I'm going to tell you what I really love about it. Because that's what's conflicting. Because like there's some parts that I'm just like, why do we have to do that? Did we have to? But then there are some parts specifically about our main character that I'm like 5 stars. So this is where I'm struggling. So it's an urban fantasy, and I don't like the settings. And I already said that with Savage City. Like, I don't like that one. I didn't like that one being like in San Francisco. This one, while not in an actual city with like in the United States kind of thing, it's still urban in the fact that we are still talking about like real world technology and stuff like that. Like, they talk about cell phones. Someone was like, oh, I'm gonna put on a hoodie, and that always just like takes me out of a scene, because we have this like court politics scene, but then like someone flips out their camera phone, and it's like, you broke it. You broke the magic. Anyways, so that's really taking me out of the story, and it's really, really affecting things when they talk about cars and like other stuff. It's feeling more along the lines of like Katie Robert, which that feels like a contemporary romance. And like, so I just kind of know that it's contemporary with like a slight hint of magic. This one I thought was more magic. It's probably just me, right? But because we have vampires, it's like, it's a vampire romance. It's like, there's a lot of mythical beings with cell phones. And like, it's just throwing me a little bit. Not that it's bad, it's just throwing me a little bit. I just need to like, I don't know, just settle in for the ride. That's what, yeah, sure. But let's talk about what I'm loving about this book. And it is the representation. First off, it's a very queer norm society. So not our main character, but one of the like people that are in our main character's inner circle. She is likely Demi, maybe Ace, on the Ace spectrum somewhere. And it's such a beautiful explanation where she's like, well, what if I don't have those feelings? Like, what if I never have those feelings? Like, am I broken? And our main character's like, nope, not at all. Like, that's just how some people are. And so I really love the representation of this. I also love the talk about weight, specifically relating to trauma. Because at the beginning of the book, our main character had been in a relationship previously with this other terrible person. And because of that, she has a lot of trauma surrounding specifically sex and specifically her body, because he would make comments about, oh, you've let yourself go. And then so the first sex scene with our two main characters was the most relatable, most like, just, I almost started crying, because it was so beautiful, because she didn't want him to see her, and she's like, I've put on weight since the last time I did this. And it was just so sexy the way that he responded, in a way of like, you know, like, I'm hard for you right now, like, because I like what I'm like, I like what I'm seeing. I like the way you look. I don't know if I'm gonna get demonetized for saying that, but like, you know what? Okay, this is not one of those safe for children videos. Sorry. It was such a refreshing scene, and she's a relatable queen. We love her. And so like, that's the thing. This book is very conflicting, because there are parts of it where I'm just like, nah, we could have done without that. But then we have these scenes that it's just like, it's so perfect. And then like, I want to give the book 5 stars. So it's probably not going to be a 5-star because of like how critically I review books, but it is definitely one where like, I'll want to continue the series. I'm going to go finish up my work day, but I'll talk to you later. Hi, I'm going to be doing a phone update because I don't want to get all my camera equipment out, and it is what it is. It's fine. I finished Dark Knight Golden Dawn by Alison Carr-Wechter. I can never remember the name of this book. I struggle with that final word. I don't know why, but I'm like, Dark Knight Golden Sun, because like Red Rising. I don't know why I can't think of the name of this book, but what I can tell you is I loved it. I think once I got past the idea that this is an urban fantasy where it takes place in a world similar to ours, it's not Earth, but it's something similar to Earth. I think once I got past that, I really, really enjoyed the book. And some of the depictions of trauma in this book were so, so good. I talked about it when I was at the halfway mark. This was like such a good book for me. I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars just because it's not perfect. And I think at the beginning it did definitely take me out, and maybe upon a reread I would actually like it more, because like I would know what it was going in. But I think the book did have a little bit of an identity crisis at first, and I think that's the only reason why it's not 5 stars. But I still really loved it, and I think that if you like books like Katie Robert, you will really like this book, because that also has like an urban fantasy light twist to it. This is definitely more fantasy than Katie Robert is, but it's kind of the same dynamic. The characters have a lot of the same characteristics to them. There's a lot of discussion of trauma and like things that the characters are dealing with behind the scenes and backstory and stuff like that. And Allison has done such a good job with creating characters with complex backstories and like things that you can really relate to. Me being a very character-driven reader, I immediately resonated with this book. And the thing is I'm really hesitant to recommend this book to people because I don't know that it would hit the same way that it hit with me. If that makes sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know. This is like not a book where I would be like, yes, everybody needs to read it, because I don't think that this is like a phenomenal 5-star, like the best fantasy romance of all time. But I think just because it hit so personally with me, I want to give it a high rating. So I'm struggling with this one because I think like I could give it 5 stars, but I know like probably logically it's not. I may have ordered the second book on Amazon because I do want to continue the series. The book kind of ends on a cliffhanger. Okay, so like this is the best way to explain this book. It is a political fantasy mixed with a mafia romance. That's the best way to talk about this book, because it has like this, not Romeo and Juliet, but like West Side Story aspect to it, with the two like political rival families and like, you know, everybody's trying to kill everybody. But it's like, it has a little bit of like a mafia twist to it. And that I think is probably why I wouldn't necessarily recommend this book to everybody, because it doesn't fit your typical fantasy romance mold. Regardless, I loved it, giving it 4.5 stars. I don't know why this is so complex and why this, like, I'm struggling with this rating. I don't know why. I love the book, okay? It's 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I am going to continue on with the series, and Allison will definitely be somebody that I get into her line at ApollyCon. First off, I would like to apologize for like 90% of these clips being in the car. I do most of my listening at work, which means that I am listening during the daytime, and then I have a thought and I come out here and I talk about it, because there's not really a place to do this in my office. That would be weird. They're like, what are you doing? And then they would know I have a YouTube channel, and like most people at my job do not know that I have a YouTube channel. So we come out to the car, to the empty parking lot, and we talk here. Secondly, also work related, it's been kicking my butt this week. So I haven't really like had the opportunity to go home and like have the spoons and the energy to film. So you're getting this. So I apologize for that. It's not a great, you know, view in the back, but it is what it is. But let's talk. I'm about 40% of the way through Slaying the Shifter Prince by Claire Sager. So this is going to be the final book for this vlog. And I am convinced that this is just The Cruel Prince if you wanted it to be more horny and to be more smut. So if you liked The Cruel Prince and you liked the vibes of Jude and Carden, this is going to be the book for you if you actually wanted to see Jude and Carden fuck. I think that the writing for the most part is really good. There are some sentences though that are they're confusing. Like we just didn't put enough thought into them. So he shifts into essentially a cat. And there was like a sentence where she's like, he was like a werewolf, but in cat form. And you're like, that's, I don't know. Like I just, that one sentence just struck me as odd, like kind of lazy. But other than that, like the writing is pretty good. It's just that like the scenes between the two of them are just odd a little bit. He does do some fun things with his tail. This one is definitely more smut forward, more romance forward than definitely Shadow Prince, but maybe even Frost King. Honestly, I trauma blocked that one out. This one, like, there's sex very early on, and there is like smut in multiple forms very early on. And it's also very much a bully romance, and that's not my favorite. I don't like bully romances. I've said that on my channel before, so this is not a new concept, and it's very, very prevalent here. This is kind of a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but with Faye. And I was talking to Brittany on Sprints, and I was like, because I told her, I was like, hey, it's Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it's also a bully romance, so like, don't read it. You won't like it. But we were kind of talking about like Beauty and the Beast and the like pipeline of kids liking Beauty and the Beast to now adults reading monster smut in various forms. And we were like, it was the Beast's tale. He's the one that did it. We were just all traumatized as children and we didn't know it. So here we are on my channel reading cat smut, essentially. Anyway, I'm gonna probably finish this today at work. I've got about 2.5 hours left at my listening speed, so it shouldn't take me too long. And I'd like to be able to finish this and get this vlog up and ready to go. Because we're getting very close to ApollyCon and I am excited. That's the update. I will touch base with you probably when I finish this book. All right, we're back. I did in fact finish Slaying the Shifter Prince by Claire Sager today. I am giving this 3 stars. So it's not the worst thing I've ever read, but it is, I'm standing by the fact that this book is just the Cruel Prince if you actually wanted them to fuck. Like, if you wanted an adult version of the Cruel Prince, that is this book. I don't think I can get over the fact that she essentially fucked a cat. Had the sex scenes not been as graphic, maybe I could have forgotten that part and it could have just been like a man with a cool tail. But she continually talks about it and like his feline features and his sharp teeth and like she just continually brought up these things. And I think, like, here's the thing, I don't read a ton of shifter romances, so if you are into shifter romances, like, this might work for you. So like maybe I should have known that going into it. So take my opinion with a grain of salt, obviously. Like, your mileage is going to vary on this, but the shifter romances that I have read, I feel like I've liked them more when during the smut scene they are human, or at least human-like. Like Shadow Prince, right? He is like half wraith, and so like he is humanoid but like has these wings. I can't quite get past it. So 3 stars, but that means that The Vampire Conqueror by Carissa Broadbent is the last one of the I keep wanting to say Mortal Instruments, but that is absolutely the wrong series. Mortal Enemies to Monster Lovers. I just have to read the Carissa Broadbent one. Will I read it before ApollyCon? Probably not, but we'll see what happens. Anyways, this was a great experiment for me because I was introduced to 3 new authors that are going to be at ApollyCon in a couple of weeks, like maybe less than a week as you're seeing this video, because I'm filming it a bit early. I'm trying to like get ahead of my content, and I learned a lot from this experiment. I will read more from Claire Sager. I think I would like to try her other series, maybe if it's not a shifter romance. Actually, I think honestly what I disliked more about this book, more so than the fucking a cat, was the bully romance. And like, I don't like bully romances in contemporaries. I don't like bully romances in fantasy. It's not my style. Just like the lack of agency that the women have in bully romances. Obviously they're consenting to it, and so like, you do you. I'm not judging anybody for liking bully romances. They're obviously super popular, but just like personally for me, listen, I'm married to a cinnamon roll. Like, Derek is the most cinnamon roll person out there. And I know that like when a lot of people read romances, they want to read something that's other than real life, and I think to an extent I do as well. I mean, obviously, like, I like fantasy romance, I like fae, I like angels, that kind of thing. Like, that's not reality. But I think the relationship dynamics, when it comes to the relationship dynamics, there are some things that I will like go outside of my norm and read. But I think I'm finding out that when the woman doesn't have the agency and doesn't have, like, I want a feminist. That's what I want in my books. So that's okay. I'm just gonna end my rant here, but it is 3 stars because I do objectively think that this was good. I think that it was well written. It's just, it wasn't my personal tropes. I'm gonna end my rant here. I will read from Claire Sager again. I will likely not read from Elle Penelope again. I certainly will not continue this series. It's very YA. These characters got on my last nerve, so I'm gonna unhaul this one. And like, I'm not gonna buy anything at Elle Penelope's table at ApollyCon, which, you know, this is a great experiment for that. However, the obvious winner of this experiment is Alison Carr-Wechter. Here's the thing, when I finished this, I gave it 4.5 stars. It's been a week since I've read this book now, and I can't get it out of my head. So I think it's 5 stars. I think it has to be. I think I have to bump it up for like that sake. I don't think that this is a perfect book. I think there's definitely things in it that like could use some work, and I also think that this is not gonna be a book for everybody, but for me, the representation in this book means so much to me, and I will absolutely be going to meet Allison at ApollyCon. And not only that, I bought the second book in this series, and I bought the first book in her next series, and the second one in this duology comes out either at ApollyCon or like she's going to have like advanced copies at ApollyCon. I don't know. Regardless, I'm gonna read her whole backlist. This is like the #1 author I want to see at ApollyCon now. So for that reason alone, this video was an absolute success. And I am a little bit obsessed. It's fine. Anyways, let me know if you're going to ApollyCon. It's gonna be a really good time. I'm really, really excited about it. I'm spending a whole week in Washington, D.C. It's gonna be so much fun. The panels that are there, I'm excited about some of them. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. I'm excited to meet some authors. That's cool. I have not been to a book convention since BookCon 2019, the last BookCon. So it's been a long time. That being said, that's all I have for you today. If you're not feeling chatty, do the fiery heart emoji. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.